Now find a comfortable place where you won't be disturbed, and let's get ready to transform your retail stores. When we think about innovation, like it's always, I think, robots, lasers, AI, like, how do we apply that to our business? When I go into organizations, I find that a lot of times that leaders have a misconception of what innovation really is. My name is Matt Mueller. I am an innovation strategist helping brands and retailers figure out what they're doing in innovation. I was a deli manager working in grocery stores. And then one day they just said, hey, we're starting an innovation team. We need to evolve the way that we're approaching our consumer experience. And we want you to help us start that team. We were able to impact over 7,000 stores. We were able to create change like increasing sales, increasing bottom line productivity, reducing turnover, and also helping customer satisfaction all at the same time. So I wanted to share that with the retail world. Standing right in front of me in the middle of Manhattan on the sidewalk on a busy street was a monk. He handed it to me. It was like a wooden mala bracelet. But I started looking at the bracelet a little bit closer, and I noticed that on it was a little symbol. It's a Sanskrit word, Ripka. When you translate Ripka to English, it actually means unconfused knowledge. And that's when it all hit me. I was like, it's not about the robots, the lasers, and the AI. It's not about any of that. In fact, it was about becoming more mindful, more in tune of what's happening in the present moment. I realized that the things that I was trying to solve for were not real problems. They were maybe problems that were in my head. Once we were able to be more mindful, that's when things changed for our team. So that was like the foundation for all the change that we were able to apply and create those impactful in-store experiences. The average person breathes about 20 times per minute. When you're breathing that much per minute, your body is actually in fight or flight mode. When you are in fight or flight mode, you're running for your life. We live in this state, which is absolutely nuts. So we're looking behind ourselves, like, what's happening? Like, what's gonna get me? And that's how we respond to things, is by really having those types of reactions. And we don't fully think out the decisions that we're making. Transformation is hard. There was a study that was done. They take chickens that were, wild and free, and they put them into a cage for like a week. A week later, they opened the door and allowed the chickens free. The first chicken was like, oh, cool, door's open. And he starts to kind of come out of the cage. He looks around. And then all of a sudden, he just kind of steps back into the cage. And when it leaves, he's been in that cage for so long, right? It's been a week for that chicken that he's now been trained that this is the way things are. This is my box, and this is the way it needs to be. And anything that's different, leaving that cage could feel very uncomfortable. Even though it's much better on the outside of the cage, you won't leave the cage because it's different. And that's what happens with us in organizations. That's what was happening with us, was that we were stuck in this chicken cage, and we would open the door up for all of our leaders to leave the cage. And they would take a step, they peek out and say, wow, that's really interesting, but I like it over here better. How do we actually create a breadcrumb trail out of that chicken cage to figure how do we keep them out? How do we get them to actually transform or change? So in the course that we're going to be discussing, it is about getting outside of that chicken cage. You will learn how to transform step by step throughout this process. It is something that needs to be done slowly, methodically, and you have to think purposefully about each one of those points to allow for transformation. We're trying to get people to look at our marketing materials in store. We would do customer shop-alongs and realize that we have these beautiful LTO signs on the case in the stores, and nobody was looking at them. Let's solve the problem. Let's increase our brand awareness. We started to develop some really amazing signs that were three-dimensional, augmented reality kind of stuff. It was really just like super science fictional type of signs. We tested those out, and we realized that at the end of the test that nobody looked at our signs. So what happened was we were solving the wrong problem. So don't come to this master class looking to solve a way to get people to look at your signs. Rather, think about it from a different angle. Like, how do I solve a problem for my customers with a sign? That's a much deeper question and a much different angle that we're taking. So can we find out what problems our customers have? Think a little bit deeper about the problem that you're coming to solve. Challenge yourself to understand that you know nothing. What I do with my employees and with my customers is I let them lead me. What are the things that they're saying? What are the things that they are doing? And just having those open conversations, and no matter what the answers are that they tell me, just listen into what exactly they're saying. So if you could tap into just, feeling like you know nothing and you're going to learn everything from every single interaction that you have, because you're putting yourself in their shoes. And it all comes down to having that empathy and removing yourself from the picture just for a moment. And then once that interaction is over, then you can put that back in and say, okay, now what do I do with this information? How do I move forward? So I'd be so grateful for you to be there. I think it's going to be an amazing experience, and it's something that is going to have a lasting impact, not only for your company, but also for you personally. It gives you a new framework and a different way to look at things as you become the greatest thing possible. If we just bring a level of awareness into each conversation that we're having, each observation that we're making, and to each moment that we live, just that little bit of awareness can create great change in this world. In your stores, in your personal lives, in your personal development. So I would be honored to have you there and help bring a little bit more awareness and a framework that's going to help you transform